Today we're going to tackle the big one, stress. In this three-part series, I'm going to show you a simple technique that I call stress surfing, which is a way of using mindfulness to transform your relationship with stress. It's a way of taking the stress out of stress. Now, the stress surfing technique has 3 steps. 1, recognize that you're feeling stressed. 2, mindfully observe those feelings. And 3, become aware of how those feelings come and go. Now, in the first video of the series, I'm going to explain step 1 in detail. And then in part 2 and part 3, I'll talk about the other 2 steps and wrap the series up. Now, when I first say that you need to recognize that you're feeling stressed, that's pretty obvious. But you might be surprised just how often you act in a certain way or say certain things because you're stressed out without actually realizing that that's what's going on. My goal for this video series is to help you learn to transform your relationship with stress, but it's also to help you reduce the collateral damage inflicted on those around you when you're feeling stressed. So let's get into it. Now, before I can explain exactly what I mean by recognizing that you're feeling stressed, I need to back up a bit. What is stress? Let me start by saying that I'm not going to go into a detailed examination of the physiology and psychology of stress in this video. While that's pretty interesting stuff, it's actually not necessary for understanding how to use the stress surfing technique. Now, for our purposes, all you need to know is that the experience of stress is made up of 2 main parts. 1 is a bunch of physical sensations, and 2, a bunch of thoughts, emotional states, and other mental activity. In fact, when you look at it this way, you'll see that stress is just a word. It's a concept. It doesn't actually exist as a thing. It's just a bunch of physical sensations and mental activity that we've labeled as stress so that it's easier to talk about. And it turns out that just by viewing stress in this way, you begin to change it from being this nebulous, highly unpleasant thing to something concrete that you can work with. So the first step in stress surfing is to identify these physical sensations, thoughts, and so on. I know when I'm feeling stressed, I know it by the twisting, nauseous feeling in my gut, the tension in my jaw muscles, the tightness in my diaphragm, and an overall slightly panicky feeling. And I've got thoughts like, I'm stressed, this is too much, I can't handle this, I need to escape, and so on. And now I want you to do it. I want you to remember a time when you were feeling stressed. Can you remember what that felt like in your body? What were the physical sensations? Where were they located? And now do the same for thoughts, emotional states, and other mental activity. Can you remember what thoughts were going through your mind at the time, especially repetitive thoughts? Now, if this experience is difficult for you, then try identifying these things the next time you're actually feeling stressed and write down what you discover. The goal is to get familiar enough with these sensations and thoughts so that you can use them as a stress early warning system. Because the sooner you recognize that you're feeling stressed, the easier it is to work with it. You may even notice that getting beneath the concept of stress to the underlying sensations and thoughts actually helps you to handle the stress better. Okay, that wraps up part 1 of this series. Make sure you do the exercise and learn to identify the physical sensations and mental activity that are present when you're feeling stressed. And then join me for part 2 of the series where I show you how to apply the power of mindful observation to those sensations. That's where things start to get really fun. Now, if you've got a friend who you think could benefit from learning the stress surfing technique, send them an email with a link to this video. I'm Grabovac. Thanks for watching.